Hello everyone, this is your reading for Friday, March 21st, 2025, of course. And I am using the Light Seers Tarot. So, as always, my intention is to have 3 cards come through that can help us for this day and moving forward. What is it that we most need to know on all levels? Physical, mental, heart level, spiritual. Well, it's all spiritual, isn't it? It sure is. Oops. Right there. Ooh, okay. Knight of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, and the Tower, which is a really interesting piece of art in this deck. Okay. So, yeah, this could definitely go with some electrical storms or, some tricky weather that's been experienced in the southern states. And remember Libby over at Meister Tarot talking about all of the cyclones that they had. When I look at this card, this artwork, that's what I think of more than in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, where it's, the king and queen falling from the high tower. Kind of would rather have that. the king and the queen that wears eyeliner. Well, I don't know if he does for sure, but he did write in his book that he questions his sexuality, which I have no problem with, however he identifies. But it'd be nice if he came out. Maybe that's why he's so grouchy. I don't know. Goodness. Okay, let me cancel all that energy out and focus in on us. So our theme for the day with the 2 of Pentacles means that we might be negotiating with someone. We are definitely trying to balance things out. This is our Jupiter and Capricorn card. So there's, that wanting to expand in ways that are very real and focused in on what matters to us most. Capricorn is our duty and self-responsibility and what we can control, which is usually our time and money and attention, right? And you do that a lot, and you do a lot of hard work, and you really can build something strong. But at the 2s, we're at that stage of prioritizing our time, so it's time management. We might be negotiating with others. We might be saying no to someone because I need to focus on this. You can see how she's just kind of looking down this way, and her arms up here holding this one, but maybe this is the future coming in, but she has to focus on the here and now. We look at it and we wonder, can we spin all those plates sometimes? So yeah. With the Knight of Wands, it's our go for it card, but it needs to be grounded in the sense of we have to be careful about being impulsive. But if we're following our own passion and our own heart, and what makes us want to move forward, what makes us want to get out of bed every day, and maybe some of us are figuring that out. And the only trouble with the Knight of Wands is we just have to be careful about being just impulsive and maybe wanting action just for, you know what? If you feel like you need action in your life just for having action, then that's great for exercising, going for a walk, and because sometimes this card is about wanting something new, like a new adventure. I mean, just look at the horseback there. Like he's gone. He gone. ready to go. And yeah, so maybe this is someone inspiring you about which way to go, and then you're trying to weigh those options. And then by the evening with the tower, now for me on the spiritual level, I always look at this gateway as breaking through to your real self. You know, like the false self holds up all the pretense, holds up all the false ideas of who we think we need to be in order to have connection, in order to have love, in order to have approval, admiration, all those things that we have to give ourselves first. And then when we really have that within us, which, you know, we don't have as children and young adults unless you've had like perfect parents who were always there to encourage you. And there's no such thing, right? There's no such thing as a perfect parent. We're all human. We're all very, very imperfect, and there's something perfect about that. So we learn to break through these false pretenses as we get older. You know, we have these real needs in childhood, and they are for connection. They're to be loved and feel love and to have safety and comfort. And then if those needs are taken care of, even as an infant, you know, when the baby cries, if the mom comes and does her best, or whatever caretaker, when they do their best to take care of those real human needs for the baby, then it knows that, oh, I have connection. Oh, I'm seen and heard. I mean, and it's very unconscious. It's not until they get older, they don't. Like, have you ever been with a little kid that, my youngest granddaughter used to do this all the time, where she'd say something and we'd all look at her because she was so funny, or she said something really profound. And my oldest, actually all my granddaughters would do that. But anyway, so the first two were not shy about it. Like, they'd be like, yeah, I said that. My oldest used to say, just saying, all the time, and we'd say, stop saying, because you're getting in trouble. But the youngest, she would have these moments, and I'm sure you've seen this with kids before, where they suddenly realize that everybody's looking at them, and they don't really know how to take in that much attention. And she happens to be a Leo, which is a fire sign. So, but she has Sun conjunct Saturn, so she can get kind of shy when she was younger. Now that she's older, now she's way past that. But you know, it's those moments of being recognized, and sometimes you don't really know what to do with that, and then you go back in and you're shy. You have to keep encouraging them to come out. It's okay. Yeah, we're in a restaurant, but it's okay. You know, as long as you're not throwing food or screaming, we're okay. And then, of course, those times of screaming would always happen with somebody's kid, so who cares? But anyway, when the parents do enough of seeing and acknowledging the child, then they grow up realizing that they are seen and heard and understood, and that's a good thing, and that their creative self-expression is encouraged. That's what creates people who just do their own thing or do their thing without having a lot of problems. Now, most of us did not have childhoods like that. I certainly didn't. So it took a lot of my own courage to get myself out there. But this is that breakthrough, right? I mean, yeah, there's lightning here, but that lightning can be like your higher self going, come on, it's time to let this go. You don't need their approval. You don't need their confirmation. You do not need anyone else's permission to be yourself. So I think this is something that's going on here, and I really feel like the tower has to do with breaking through to that creative process. You know, like, granted, this is in the forest, and this poor little squirrel's like, oh, you know, all the butterflies are flying out going, well, there's transformation coming through, right? Because with the Tower, things are not the same way that they were before. It can be like an upheaval, or it can be just a simple revelation where suddenly you're not the same person you were. So, and this card is ruled by Mars in Aries. So, and Uranus. I always like to bring in the modern ruler too. I always feel like Mars and Uranus is definitely the major ruler there. But, Mars rules Aries. We have this planetary lineup in Aries right now. So I think everybody's breaking through, and the real self is coming through. And yeah, maybe you've grown out of your home. Also, on another level, we can look at this squirrel as coming out of his home. But every time I ever did any like remodeling and stuff around the house, I would get this card all the time. And another rule is when we're looking at dailies, if you get a major card like this for yourself, don't worry, because when you're doing, like, let's say you do the card of the day, it's never to be taken as strongly as like if this card would come through for like a yearly reading that or maybe you do monthly readings, the Tower or the Death card, Death Rebirth card coming through, and those, it's stronger energy. But for dailies, no, you don't really worry about it. Okay, let's look at the astrology. So here we are. I have that straight. Yeah, okay. So the moon's in Sag. Now that's fiery energy. And it's at that 19 degrees point where we're in the third decan, where we're just, early 5 a.m. We're leaving the second decan of learning lessons, and we're moving into the 20 to 29 degree phase where, where things are blooming, Whatever you've been working on, things will come to fruition more. We also have an inconjunct, which means that we need to make an adjustment to Mars. And Mars is wanting to move forward in ways that are tuned in to your intuition, to trust your intuition. Mars in Cancer is wanting to, it's very subjective, like you're feeling what you're feeling, and that's a good thing. And if you follow your intuition, it's going to lead to good things for you, because we have this double trine here that is connecting Mars to Saturn and the North Node. And so remember, the nodes go backwards. So the North Node is heading towards Saturn, and Saturn is heading towards the North Node. So this 4 degrees of separation that we have here is going to become much tighter, and it'll be more intense, because when planets are connected together in a conjunction, when they're joined together, when I say the word conjunction, just think joined. But when they're joined together, it increases each of the planet's powers. Now, the North Node is not a planet, it's a point in space, but it's very important. But the Sun, Venus, and Mercury here, this is a tight conjunction, right? And Mercury and the Moon are going backwards as the Sun is moving forward. So this is getting tighter. So there's a focus of energy on with this tight orb here between Mars and Saturn, between moving forward in ways that create safety for yourself and your family and those that you love, and honoring your intuition, your psychic abilities, trusting I'm thinking possibly there's some guidance early in the morning from meditation or dream time, or those quiet hours we have in the morning to ourselves, if we're smart enough to not turn the news on. I fail that one on a daily basis. So I have to do my meditation and analyzing dreams and stuff like that before I even get out of bed. Otherwise, I'm goners. So, but do what works for you. but there's an adjustment here, possibly because something came in as guidance does, and now there's a new direction, because now this is mutable energy with Sag, but Sag is fiery. So it's not as mutable to me anyway, because it's direction orienting, It's not as mutable, not as malleable, not as adaptable to me as like Gemini or Pisces, especially Virgo, mostly Gemini. Sag to me just doesn't really feel very mutable, but it is. Those are the rules. But it's fire, right? Mutable fire. So, and we have, mutable air down here with Jupiter in Gemini, and we do have the opposition that we had, late last night too, and during the middle of the night. That's why I'm feeling like dreams, dreamtime guidance, most likely. We still have the two trines from the South Node, so the South Node is down here like holding a point where we're gathering facts, we're figuring out how to make things in our lives align with the divine order, and trusting that there is a divine order and things will work out in their own time. But you still have to hold the rudder. This is almost a kite here, but there's a rudder down here, and if you don't hold the rudder, things are going to go crazy. So you really have to, be in control of your own life. But with Virgo energy, again, we're always adjusting. You might have been planning to go this direction by 3 degrees, and now you're realizing, I have to adjust back over this way, 2 degrees or whatever, It's just a kind of a metaphor there. So adjustments as you gather facts and you make things more useful, and new information, especially if you're working towards reinventing yourself or becoming more safe and secure, more and more is coming in all the time. And it's meant to empower you. It's meant to help you free yourself, free your soul, free your life into a way that is, it's original for you. And it has to do with, again, Aquarius is very intuitive. If you're working it in the light. And it's also very fair and friendly. This could be networking, and you guys have a big project together, and it helps each other be, even more secure and safe. And also enjoy, Taurus is such a grounded sign, and it's all about needing peacefulness, like needing to feel grounded in a peaceful place. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, so there's a double dose of that energy that is wanting to break free. It's wanting to create positive change. Okay? And then we also have the double sextile over here on this side of it. So we have an aspect to the architect here and another one over here. And it's all related to going towards the new things that life can bring in, but you have to set your intentions and keep working these opportunities here that are meant to empower you more and more. So the square to Mars, we're going to have that for a little while, because you can see Mars is at 20 degrees. Chiron and Eris are at 21 and 24. So until Mars gets way past that, I'd say 27 degrees, we're going to have that square in there. So it's going to be for a little while. Let's see. I covered those trines. Let me check to see real quick what we have for exact orbs. Is that lit up? There it is. Yeah, so of course the adjustment. This does go very well, even though the signs aren't earthy, but it does. This goes with that the Two of Pentacles right here, like needing to make adjustments as we go for what we really want. And then you can see the sextile from Pluto to Venus is exact, 3 degrees there. The sun, as it moves forward, it will it will be sextiling there as well. And so over the next few days, we're going to continue to have this sextile. So this is really good for forging new frontiers, blazing your own trail into your own power. And you'll find that if you do that, you are also helping humanity. Because whatever we're doing, whatever we're holding, the energy we're carrying, the consciousness that we are putting out into the world, because it's who we are, what we're conscious of in our own lives, all the ways that we are constantly growing and evolving our own souls, that helps the rest of the planet. It helps the universe, actually. And then you can also see the semi-square here coming from Saturn over to Eris. Okay, so this is that part, that strong energy where, well, it's not as strong as the square, but it's still strong because Saturn's there and Saturn's not moving. And Eris, well, Saturn's moving, but really slowly. Eris is just sitting there, right? Now, semi-squares create friction and indecision, but they're really good for, like, if you have a lot of semi-squares in your chart, you may have one of those lifetimes where you get a lot of on-the-job training, and that's actually really good. It makes for a more rounded, human being to learn a lot of different skills. So, but anyway, Saturn here can be the government. It can also be, so it could be limitations on the government, being victimized by the government victimizing immigrants under the ridiculous administration. And Eris is over here thinking, well, or holding that vibration, that quality, that consciousness of, what is the right way to be, because, she's the feminine struggle for equality. And it takes her 556 to 558 years to get around the zodiac, to orbit around the sun. So she came into the sign of Aries in 1926, and she won't leave until 2048. So in the sign of Aries, it's all about survival. It's about moving forward with your right to exist. And your unique individuality and your independence is the primary, force. It just, when it comes to life, it is. Aries and Mars, literally the life force. The blood, the movement, the power, the existence of who we are. So with Chiron there close to Eris, of course, we've all been feeling for quite some time, the struggle there. Like, we have these creepy old white men in SCOTUS who try to act like we don't matter. Women don't matter. They're to be the helpmeets, the helpmaidens to men. Yeah. Fuck that, right? So, anyway, if there's indecision for a while, I would understand, because with Saturn and Eris and both of those, like, she's just going to sit there, and Saturn will eventually move away, but the North Node is headed towards Saturn. So again, and this is at that later degree of the sign, which is, that deepening this situation. So more and more people are going to be waking up. Again, waking up, and is it time to change the cat box yet? How stinky is it? Okay, well, that's it for today. You guys take good care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.